Hey, what's going on? This is Justin with Saltstrong, and I want to walk through with you guys just a quick checklist of the lures, hooks, leader, terminal tackle, some accessories, and things that I think are important to take out there with you, whether you're fishing out of a kayak like I do, or fishing from a boat, or even fishing from a pier or wading. I think all these things are important to have on your person, and this would keep it relatively minimalist. I really don't like taking a lot of clutter out on the water with me, so I've just, over the years, focused on slimming down the tackle and all the things that I put with me in my milk crate or in my backpack, and I just want to share some of that information with you guys so that you can streamline your organization process. So the very first thing that you need to make sure that you have is a life vest. If you're going to go out in a kayak, or a boat, you need to make sure that you have your life vest and your personal safety equipment on you. So I just throw mine in the milk crate the night before. I go with a Hobie inflatable life vest with a CO2 cartridge that I pop in. Need to check it and make sure that that is still active and working. I'll always have it in my milk crate, but on my person when I'm on the water. And you also need to have a loud whistle. So these are pretty cheap. You can get them at Walmart or a Dick's Sporting Goods or Academy for a couple bucks. And I just grabbed a big split ring, sometimes they come with them, and just clipped it right there to the side pocket of the life vest. This is the most important thing you need to make sure you have out there in a kayak. Other than your paddle or your pedals, you need to make sure you have your life vest. So I'm always going to make sure that's the first thing in my milk crate before I start prepping everything else. So if you're not going to be out there in a kayak and you're going to be wading, going from a pier, land, or from a boat, obviously you're not going to bring a milk crate out there with you. So I've picked up a waterproof backpack. Traditionally people use tackle boxes, either hard tray tackle boxes or soft side tackle boxes. I've always enjoyed a waterproof backpack. Before I had a waterproof backpack, I just use a drawstring bag. I'm gonna throw my tackle tray, some accessories and lures in the bag and just pull it out as needed. But you never know when you're gonna get caught in a rainstorm. You never know when you're gonna take a big wave over the side of the boat and flood your gear. So get yourself a good waterproof backpack. This one's by Plano. This has been awesome so far. I think this is might be their Edge series, I'm not sure. The 3700 size waterproof 20-liter backpack. This has been great for me. I've had it for a couple months. But really any waterproof backpack will do. Even a drawstring bag will work if you think it's going to be sunny all day long and you just want something cheap and simple. But this is just an alternative if you're not going to have a milk crate and you're not going out in the kayak and just walking around from land. This is definitely something you need to be able to store everything inside. Now, as for accessories, I'm still pretty minimalist here. I try to make sure, whether I'm fishing at nighttime or early in the morning, always have a headlamp. Just a cheapy $20 headlamp, something you can see if you're launching the boat or the kayak early in the morning. You don't want to step on a wildlife like a snake or anything that could be out there in the boat ramp. Don't want to step on a fish carcass, and you just help see your gear a lot easier in low light conditions. You're only going to use it for 30, 45 minutes in the morning, and obviously definitely a requirement if you're going to go night fishing. That's super important to have. Always make sure that you have suntan lotion on you. Cover your face, your nose, behind the ears, the hands if you don't wear gloves. I always wear long sleeve shirts and long pants when I'm fishing to mitigate, bug bites and getting burnt. But the sun still finds its way in the most awkward parts around my face. So always have a little thing of suntan lotion on you to protect yourself. And bug spray. So really, whether you use products with DEET or I'm sure it's called, I think it's Pectorin or something like that. Personally, if you're going to have an insect deterrent or repellent on you, I think the best thing to have is a Thermacell. They're a little pricey. I think they're close to like almost $30 now, but they're excellent. If you keep them dry and you change out those tabs that they burn through, they emit like a gas from the Thermacell, and they're excellent at deterring mosquitoes and really any kind of flying insect. Tony has one of those, and he was the only one not getting bit the day that I fished with him. And water, obviously, super important. Now, before I go fishing, I'll either stock up at a Publix or a gas station the day of and get 3 or 4 bottles of water to drink throughout the day, because I believe you need to hydrate early and hydrate often. But I will always still have 1 bottle of water in my backpack or in the milk crate for safety reasons, because I don't know if I'm going to get a cut out there, or if I'm going to get stung, or I need to wash my hands and have clean fingers for texting on my phone if it's an emergency. You need to have clean water on you at all times. It's just a safety thing, and if it's super hot out there, it's your backup bottle of water to make sure you don't get over dehydrated on these super hot days. So I always have a bottle of water on me. Even if I'm not going to drink it, I'm always going to have an extra one on my person when I'm fishing. Now let's take a look at pliers. You need to have a quality set of pliers on you. I think a standard set of aluminum pliers. These are Danco's. I've had a bunch of Danco's over the years. They've been great. Anywhere between like $25 and $40 for a set of pliers like this, and they last forever. You want to get the ones that have those carbide cutters on the side. Just makes trimming your tag lines and your leader line really, really easy. These have a lot of just salt deposit and grit on them, and they still open and close really easy. Got them in a little holder there. And lip grippers. So I have pretty much only used these now on redfish and black drum. If I have a big trout, I'm going to want to use a landing net because that's just safer on the trout. But for a good sized redfish or black drum, these have been a pretty effective way to make sure that you have control over your fish boat side. If you're not comfortable using lip grippers, you can certainly use a small portable net. That would be a good alternative to have. But I've used lip grippers on the past on really big redfish, and these don't grip down super, super tight. They grip down just enough to be able to get that lower lip of the fish and just make it really easy to manage them boat side or kayak side. And as for leader material, keep it simple. So I just take one skein of Andy 20-pound monofilament leader, and just as a backup, I get myself a small pack of Vanish fluorocarbon, because that's proven to be a good value fluorocarbon to have on you, just in 20-pound. If you're going to go after snook, or you're going to go after something bigger, obviously go to 30 or even 40-pound if you're going to use bigger baits. But I do try to keep a monofilament and a fluorocarbon on me at both times, because I might get into areas where the water is super clear and fluorocarbon might have a slight edge. But most of the time, Andy 20-pound monofilament leader just gets the job done for redfish, trout, and even some snook that aren't too big and aren't going to fray me off with 20 pounds. So just a couple things to consider. Now to talk about the fun part of the checklist, and that is lure selection, lure coverage, depth coverage, and terminal tackle and organization. All right, so taking a look at the hot go-to lures in Justin's tackle tray. I like to make sure that I have a variety of topwater lures. So I always like to start out with the Moonwalker, which is a custom lure made at fishstrong.com. It's our custom topwater lure. Comes with single inline replacement hooks, just great for the fish and great for the angler, less hassle to deal with. Really, it's a modification and an improvement on the current Hedden Zara Super Spook. It's got a great rattle, walks the dog super well in most conditions. Got a little bit of contrast there, kind of looks like trout fangs or fish striking the back of it. It's awesome from a contrast standpoint with this bone on that red coloration. When a topwater is working left and right, the fish are really keying in on the underside and the back of the lure. So that's just something for that fish to key in on and acknowledge that that's something different standing out on this topwater lure. I like that feature on here. But I will also take out a bigger topwater as well for windy conditions, or it could rain and then get really rough out there afterwards. And these Rapala skitter walks, I popped on owner single replacements. These are the 3X strong. This has been my go-to topwater for a number of years. It's got a really loud rattle in it, a little bit bigger body, and just great for rougher conditions, or if I want my lure to stand out a little bit more. I also recommend having a variety of hard bait search tools, or a suspending twitch bait like a Miralure Miradine. This is a 17 MR. We have a couple of different varieties and colors of this. We also have Rapala Twitch and Mullets, which are another variety of suspending hard twitch baits. They just stay in the strike zone very well. They're excellent over potholes and in a little bit deeper water where these redfish and trout are waiting in ambush down in the grass or in a pothole. This will usually bring them up to the surface to get them to strike. But for hard baits, I think it's good to have a couple different types of spoons. And you'll notice right off the bat, the one thing I don't have that I need to get is a gold spoon. Good reminder for myself. A gold spoon is one of the best universal search tools out there. It's a classic, but for right now, I do have a gold-plated pilchard spoon. This is by Aquadream. It's got a white back to it, a little bit of flash on the front side, kind of looks like a pilchard. And I also have a black spoon by Aquadream. Just works really well in clear water scenarios. But I would say that a gold spoon is the go-to. That is the next thing I need to make sure I pick up for future trips. Now, as for soft plastics, I like to keep things very minimalist. So I will always have a light color and a dark colored lure in my lineup at all times, rigged exactly the same way. I like to keep my lures pre-rigged as long as I make sure that I'm not putting them back in the tackle tray with a lot of salt and just gritty and organic deposits all over and where they can rust. As long as I know that it's fresh or it's rinsed off at the end of the day of fishing, I will put them back into my tackle tray pre-rigged, just me personally. But having a light and a dark color lure and having some natural colored lures like the Alabama Leprechaun, the Power Prawn, both rigged on a jig head and rigged weedless, will offer me not only depth coverage, but structure coverage. So if I'm gonna be fishing over grass flats, if I'm gonna be skipping up underneath docks and underneath mangroves, a weedless weighted owner twist lock in a variety of different sizes. These are both rigged up on 3/0 16th ounce owner twist locks, but the 4/0 1/8 ounce would work well as an alternative. Is just my go-to in most scenarios. If I'm going to be fishing areas where it's a lot of sand or open exposed area or a little bit deeper water, I'll always have both a light and a dark colored paddle tail. A slam shady on a jig head is a go-to for most anglers. It's versatile, works in dirty water, clean water, shallow, deep water. That's a good go-to to always have tied up or always have pre-rigged and ready to go from my eyes. And I will also have a Texas eye rigged on a variety of different Z-Man plastics. This is a 4-inch slam shady diesel minnow. And I like the Texas eye for when I want a lot of casting distance, because this counter head on the weight is just going to make this lure fly. If I'm going to be fishing over open grass flats, or I'm going to try to skip up underneath mangroves in particular, I've really liked the Texas eye. Great casting distance lure, keeps the lure super weedless, and when the lure falls, it's going to fall nose down. And with that Z-Man TPE material, this is super buoyant, so it's going to allow this lure to stand straight up and the tail to just kind of wobble while that head swings free. I like that oscillating head up front. And then finally, to stay organized, I do make sure that I have a variety of hooks. So I know myself which hooks these are and what the weights are. I've just become familiar with it over time. So I know which one is a 4/0 1/8 ounce, a 3/0 16th ounce. Again, if you need the organization for yourself the night before or on the water, you can certainly use the dividers in any of the channels here and section them off by length and weight of the type of hook. But for me, I just make sure that I have a couple different baggies of owner weighted weedless twist lock hooks. I have some Mustad grip pins for the Z-Man material lures. And then I have a couple different size jig heads. 1/8 ounce, 3/16, and 1/4 ounce has been, in general, the best coverage for me. So I have a couple of each length and size, both in Z-Man trout eyes and our custom ball jig heads to go with the Power Prawns, and a couple different Z-Man Texas eyes that I will just very easily lay here in the channel. And in terms of lure management organization, I just picked up a pretty inexpensive waterproof box. Can't remember exactly where I got this. This was probably bought at Walmart. This waterproof box will easily hold 10 or 15 bags of different soft plastics. So I'll just have them top to bottom, some Slam Shady, some Gold Diggers and Freds and Alabama Leprechauns and some Z-Man lures underneath. I just take this in my backpack or in my milk crate. Super easy for me to unlatch. This is a waterproof container. I just unlatch it, and if I need to grab an extra lure or a particular color, I can sort through it pretty easily with this tray. And it's not super big. I think that's the best thing about this is, you don't want to travel or go out on the water with a lot of clutter. So this guy's pretty small, probably 5 inches by about 7 or 8 inches wide. Easily fits in the backpack or fits in the milk crate for easy use when I want to filter through and grab a different colored lure. And that about wraps it up, guys. These are just the things that I think I need to take with me for a normal day of fishing inshore with artificial lures for redfish, trout, flounder, snook, black drum, even some juvenile tarpon. All of these lures and these tools that I have in front of me will get the job done. And the more organized and prepared that I can be the day before, the better my chances are going to be at being successful on the water when I finally find the fish. Guys, I hope you found this tip helpful. Let us know if you have any unique ways of organizing your tackle tray or getting ready the night before for a day of fishing. Leave a comment down below in this blog post and head on over to Saltstrong with any other questions you might have of how to be more successful on the water. If you're new to Saltstrong, just know that we are the best online fishing club in America because we literally guarantee that you're going to catch more fish while saving time and money. And we do this by providing you with our premium education, an exclusive insider fishing community, and huge discounts on the best tackle for saltwater anglers. So to learn more, head on over to saltstrong.com and we will see you in the insider family soon.